an advocate for AIs, but making it human-centered, using it as a tool, not to go laying off people, but rather how do you reskill and retool people. So we're going to hear him speak about this as it relates to hospitality. And sir, I give you the floor.
Thank you. So my name is McCawley. I've been an educator at Broward College for the last 25 years. When I came there, I left the Miami Herald because it was a moment where desktop publishing was a huge thing. You might have noticed it. I came with my Macintosh Plus of Miami Herald. And within 3 months, they laid off 600 people from the floor that did the mechanical paste up of 13 editions of the newspaper every day. At that time, we had a helicopter on the roof, 24/7. There was a pilot snooping the building. There was the dots where our forest in Canada brought all of that paper down. And we had to move our cars out every quarter when they brought these 1-ton rolls of paper that came from our forest. Today, there were 65 photojournalists, and I don't know how many people were involved in the entire process. Now, how many of you subscribe to the paper when you're old? Somebody's going ahead. How many people you think are still working in the Miami Herald? Is there a building? Nope. So learning, adapting, and innovating is what you got to do. But what I want to do is I want to make sure the 600 people have a place to go afterwards. And what I do for the rest of my life, and I will be of service for the rest of my life. I have everything that I need, and all I want is for you to give me a bigger stage to get on top of and to listen to this message. AI is not a time to fire your personnel, especially in the hotel industry. It's a time to reflect on who you are as hoteliers. So I want you to close your eyes for a minute because I want to prep you for what I'm about to say. This is something I wrote with the assistance, and I always use that term because I poured my blood, sweat, tears the last 40 hours where I didn't sleep every night preparing what I've got here in store for you. And while I'm sitting down in the parking lot, I poured that guts out into my phone in ChatGPT. Close your eyes for just a minute. Ask yourself, what business are you in? You're in the memory business. Let me ask you, when your guests leave South Florida, do they remember the receipt, the check-in process, the Wi-Fi code? God, I hope not. They remember how they felt, the sun on their skin after a brutal northern winter, the kindness of your staff's voice when their flight got delayed 3 times, the smell of clean sheets, or the surprise champagne on their anniversary. What business are you in? You're in the business of memory. And in the age of artificial intelligence, the game has changed. You are no longer a manager. You're a designer of their feelings, a curator of their moments, a maker of magic. That's where AI comes in. AI isn't here to replace. It's here to amplify your humanity. Think of AI as a rocket ship for your mind. Steve Jobs once said that a computer was a bicycle for your brain. But in hospitality, AI is your invisible concierge, your memory keeper, your friction fixer. It remembers so you can be present. The present of your presence is the greatest gift you have to give. It plans so you can be kind. It suggests so you can surprise. The greatest gift of you, give present a room, it is the presence. It is the moment someone says, that was the best trip of my life, and I'll never forget. Let's build that future together with your heart and AI as an outstretched hand. So buckle up. You don't need to know how to fly a rocket ship. You just need to know where you want to go. So that's what I want to present. So if you take a look up here, I was my ex-wife, 27 years, 2 kids. She is a native of South Florida. Back 8 generations. Our children were born here in South Florida. So proud members, 8 generations going back, the Elliott Key, etc. She was a postcard collector. So right at the end, I spent about 40 hours putting this together for you today. And right at the end, I said to Mass, that's another story for another day. I said, I remember those postcards and I want to go appeal to them and show them that it's a little assistant and there's a lot of robotics involved in the future of hotels. And so I thought, make that, Great Florida, welcome to Florida thing, and make it like this. And so enhanced hospitality. So there you go. That's what we're doing. So that AI. But I told them what my intentionality was to create an experience that I remember. Now, there's a couple of things here. The one that I think it might be worthwhile, someone told me this didn't quite work. This should work, but the two things I want you to take away from this first slide. My name is Rick McCawley. If you just type my name into a Google search, the old-fashioned Google search, you'll find about 90 pages. I am so public and so out there that you'll find out about things I forgot that I did. And on LinkedIn, linked up with me there. So one of these doesn't work. The one on the right there is, there's my Gmail. So send Rick McCawley Gmail so you can get a hold of me. I have AI answering and sorting my emails, and I'll put an auto respond for anybody requesting this citation to automatically send you all the links in one document. And all I got to do is say yes. So that's where we are right now. It's an agent. So take a look at that. Perplexity is the answer engine. It is not ChatGPT. It has ChatGPT under the hood. It's got all that going on. And it's a search engine. That's the greatest search engine of all time because its goal is to give you answers, not to get in your way. So under the hood, it's got ChatGPT, it's got Gemini, it's got all the different llamas and all the different models, the latest versions. And then it's got an engine. What do you want to ask today? And you just talk to it. I've got it on my phone 24/7. That conversation I had was with ChatGPT, but I could go to Perplexity if I wanted the sources where it come from. If you look at the packet in there, there's over 17, there's 4 pages at the end with every citation of where it got the information from. If you go into ChatGPT, there's no evidence you did anything to us. Unless you go back and try to find that thing. Anybody ever try to find something ChatGPT you did before? Perplexity has it there waiting for you. You could turn it to a page and you could author an entire blog that talks about, in fact, that Perplexity will take you to Perplexity and it will load up. There's also here, I've got it on disk as well. So if you want to get that later. And then Notebook LM. So I loaded in Notebook LM, which is free, by the way, and both of those experiences are free. I think Perplexity you can do they cost $20 a month if you want to do the whole thing. Do Google, Gemini, you get Google Drive, you get everything in one thing for $20 a month, and Google Notebook, you get 300 citations, meaning that every time you copy and paste a Google YouTube link, remember Google owns YouTube? It transcribes everything that was in there. So I downloaded or I copied and pasted the URLs for 76, I think, YouTube videos about this subject. And then it poured all that in there and you asked it questions. It has a 10 million character context window. That's 100 copies of all the Harry Potters. Yes. That for just one search. So in there, I produced everything that you see that's about to follow. So let's just kind of step through and I'll show you at the end the audio podcast that you get at the end of that conversation. And it could do the whole speech form. So keep me close on time. Somebody can just kind of say you got 20 minutes or whatever. I'll let you know. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go to the next slide. Oh, I'll do that. All right, so here's what I put together for you. I've taken and analyzed 4 major sections of how it's going to work for you. This is the business side. So I always start with a success story on the top right or the bottom left. And here's what it does. Analyze the competitive pricing, demand patterns in real time, dynamic pricing adjustment rates, maximizing RevPAR, predicts demand in advance, et cetera, et cetera. So now I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. But again, you can have all this on your computer, sit in front of it and ignore it completely. Here is group analytics. And so these all came from different places. So there's a citation for every tool that's not going to talk about briefly here today. So if you are on the back end of the business and you want to find a way to intake customer service and you want to know whether they're having an anniversary, remember that champagne I just talked about? You got to know that this is their anniversary. They've been here 3 years before. What do they like the room temperature last time? It does all the analytics in the background so you don't have to. It is your Apple Drive or your Google Maps when you're driving here today. It does it. It knows if there's a traffic jam and it predictably analyzes the way around it. That's how you got to set it up. But a human's got to input and engineer it so that it does that, putting the connections together. I promise you, if you give me 4 hours with your staff, no matter what business you are in the world, I can use these 2 tools to show you how you can be agentic in making that next step. So hopefully I start with just a little bit of interest in this. Again, my name is Rick McCawley. If you want to get me around for something else, I'm here because I want to revolutionize and bring back when you're fearing AI, and you raise your hand, I think, right? When you're fearing it, think about what it might do. It will, and I'm not joking, in the next 2 years, solve all cancers. Type 2 diabetes was not managed, but reversed already in China. That's coming to the United States this year for clinical trials. I'm a type 2 diabetic for the last 12 years. I've got been nothing but they give me more pills to add to my regimen of things to do, just upping my dose. That's it. It's privileging the pharmaceutical companies. I'm actually taking a journey on my own health using ChatGPT as my guide. I want agency when I go in and talk to my doctor. Why are you giving me this pill? Why are you giving me that one? I want to know smarter questions than he has. I told him about Mondura before it was a thing. And I'm a lot slimmer. Good. I'm similar with it. You see, you got to, you know, how to use it. There you go. Plumbing. I'm a dangerous man with money in my pocket. Look. And I just want to give, right? I just want to make the life as good as it's been for me. I've been blessed in so many ways. I just want to pass it on. So I am of service to you.
Rick, can you know Firestone? Like the one, there was something very interesting on Survey Resort implemented Salesforce Einstein for guest personalization, so 40% revenue lift.
Yeah.
All right, and it's one.
Every slide has one of those points on it.
So what is Salesforce Einstein app?
Go look it up. Ask Perplexity what is it and how we implement it. It's actually very popular. Salesforce, you know, is a big multinational corporation that's basically gets your stuff working, right? So instead of SaaS, now it's agents. So SaaS is software as the service. Agents are the nets. Agent put together your Perplexity and your what you want to get done. It goes out and does it. So the answer back you're going to get from my Google email is just that I have a summary twice a day or twice a week that comes to me. Here's all the important stuff. Here's the jump. What are you going to do with it? Put it away. That's it. So if you just do it, and these are rolling out right now, all the problems about ethics, you know, personal information being leaked out there, those are engineerable out. I would suggest to you Perplexity engineers out hallucinations. The number one problem that you have with AI as an educator, for me, for sure, if I can't trust the source, if it's going to make up stuff, I got a problem, don't I? Yes. Right? So what do? Perplexity is your citation. So you should take the time to look at the 40 different citations. And so at the end of everything I'm going to send you is a list of the citations. If you get it as a PDF, you click on it. So you want to know about Einstein? That'll be one of the citations on there. Or you go ask it yourself and ask Perplexity, tell me about Einstein. This is what I do. Tell me how it's going to affect me. And give me 5 ways I can make it happen. Find me a Salesforce agent in my area. That's literally what I would say on my phone. And within 10 minutes, I got all the answers and a phone number to call. And I am not joking. It's that easy. I could sit with any one of you. If you want to buy me lunch, I'll sit there for 20 minutes and I'll take whatever problem you got in your life and I'll give you an answer. And you can share them too. So Perplexity shares can be done. Notebook shares can be done. So in each one of these, definitely the personal touch, right? High touch. You don't want to have your people go to cleaning all the toilets and interrupting somebody. You want a robot to do that. Now, I think the thing he was talking about, you want keyless entry. You don't want them to find, like I did from my last vacation, a hotel card in my wallet, right? And you feel bad about it. It's plastic and blah, blah, blah. You want low touch and you want it to be taken care of. 24/7 check-in, digital keys, eliminate the cost and replace them. So enhance biometrics, safety, etc. Right? And you want to be careful because you've got access to a lot of personal information. You know what it feels like to be a copper top battery and Mark Zuckerberg mined all your data and then sold it back to you because his platform was free. I don't want to talk about what that led to. So you got to be the human in the loop and say, if that's an invasion of privacy for me, I shouldn't be doing it because my job is to be responsible for the people in my care. if we are born of responsibility, this is my big thing. Literally, if every human born of responsibility, if every business thinks about the environment they take from and puts back more than they take, if they think of every employee as a family member and they want to send them back for upskilling because AI disrupted the job they have today, wouldn't you send your kid off to Harvard or Yale or whatever to be the best version of themselves they could be? That's what I'm saying. This is our moment to caress, not rights, but responsibilities. I showed up here at this morning for free, and I did 40 hours of research because I want to tell you that the future is if we flip the script, every one of your customers, you add value to your life. If you can do that for them, imagine what that would make you feel like. So design experiences. This is the only lesson. I don't teach graphic design anymore. I teach experience design. So at first lesson, every class, go home, find somebody you love, spend a day, design an experience of you that makes them love you more. Think about it. I want everybody to do it here. So we give you your homework, right? That's your homework for the night. What I want you to take away is you just listened to them. For some of you, a 30-year marriage, maybe you didn't. And here's a chance to design experience. I see you. I know this is the thing that I'm in love with you about. And you fall in love again with the act of giving. That's the secret to life. That's it. Anyway, getting on. So you've got all kinds of stuff. You mentioned the convention center. Here's one thing I would definitely put in. An AI system that knows your HVAC system is on the fritz. It does this automated. There's a heads-up panel that does the whole system. So it's this implementation, right? I would suggest that each one of those panels not just be passive stuff, but you walked up to and you find out where you're at. I've gotten lost so many times in convention centers. In fact, I've been to yours and tried to find out which room I'm supposed to be in for this particular talk. And I was speaking at one of them and I'm like, oh, get on. And I got to pull out a map or something they handed to me. So yeah, make it personal. 24/7 concierge. So room service, maintenance, recommendations, frees up human staff to focus on high touch, right? For being there. Oh, hi, Mr. McCawley. How are you? And would you like tickets to Hamilton tonight? Wouldn't that be great? I got a real deal for you. You're thinking about the person and let AI take care of everything else. Make it frictionless. Social media management. Have you ever gotten a bad review? Some bad experience that they had? It happens. What if it monitored it for you and it managed and you got a hold of that person who really had a bad experience and you call them on the phone and as human, right? And you say, we understood you had a bad experience. We'd like to invite you back for a weekend. Our compliments. And that person's going to go back and flip that script. And they're going to have 1,000 people that follow because you get known as the person that thought about them, that gave them the experience of a lifetime. So social media managers like this one, Mara is one of the companies. I don't know anything about hotels until I started doing this research. I mean, I spent a little extra time because I want to make this right, because I want to impress you that I could do this with anybody, get enough time and maybe a little bit of money, but who knows, right? Guest messaging system, chatbots are all the rage. You don't need to have somebody calling in the call center and taking reservations. No, the voice is so good and so empathetically. Start talking to ChatGPT or Grok or any of them. The voice is indistinguishable from a human being. Very soon, like literally 2 or 3 months away, you'll have a visual person there when you order your pizza, and they'll speak 100 languages simultaneously. So if you call up and you say, you speak Mandarin, they're going to be there for you. And they're going to talk back. Oh, I heard that you're upset. I understand. Let me see what we could do. And it has all your database of everything, so it knows what the reservation is. And all you got to say is your name, and then boom, you got everything about that person. And that bot has managed things that a person on the phone, that's not a job really a human should do. So let's find those jobs. Let's take that person from that role and put them in a high-touch situation where they get to make sure that everything is right. Guest messaging system, so you've got ordering drinks and foods and specials and lunch and make reservations and do all that kind of stuff. So that's Marati's Tech Labs. So if you look at this database, you can find out where these tools are, what they, when now, I don't even know about that, but that's your food kind of kiosk kind of thing. So IKEA uses that, as a matter of fact. Voice activating services, room service, housekeeping, all that stuff should be just voice activating. No one needs to sit at your desk and answer the phone. They need to deal with the customer right there in front of them who has a problem that needs immediate fixing, and let the AI be in the background with a flip. So personalization. So that idea of the champagne in that little opening speech, right? That's the thing. That's the thing, isn't it? You just know that extra something that because you have a record of what they did before, that's a repeat customer. You want to take care of them like they're gold because they are. They're the ones that tell other people what it felt like to be there. Then you've got personal hotspots. So your touch kiosks. So this is what I would recommend instead. Just a small personal kiosk. So like when you check your bags on a plane, right? Make it small. Make the big ones for maybe live broadcasting. If there's not enough room in the big convention center, you know, somebody speaking in there. Yeah, make it a place where they can watch on the big panel, but put the high touch, physical touch. Broward Mall has one of these, like finding your way around the what's that mall called? The Broward Mall, I guess, whatever it's called, on US 1. So, but they don't do it right. So I try to get that right if I were you. So multi-language support. So the Mandarin Oriental implemented AI translation services, 42% increase in guest satisfaction, 28% boost in reviews. So each one of these has a success story. Fraud detection. Oh boy, there's like 5. There's credit card fraud, account takeover, loyalty program abuse, fake reservations, identity theft. Yeah, this is after AI. The little green bar down there. It does this for lunch. Then it goes to have dinner, and you're power, right? So use it to do this, the biometric verification, but also think about the ethical thing. You're entrusted with people's personal information. If you get hacked, like AT&T, like Broward College, like everybody in the business right now. Remember reading those letters where they said, we're going to give you a 3 year of like personal, you know, kind of fraud detection. Well, it shouldn't have happened in the first place if you're doing the thing right there. They use AI to bulletproof that as well. Use it to design your systems that you're using here in all the different ways that you can. I don't even know what CRM is. I'm like,
Relationship management.
there you go. Okay. So that's what that does. So you know about the person, how many open tasks, how many completed tasks. Here's what she's doing. Here's a booking history and the guest profile. Anyway, whatever. It's got all that stuff in there. Let it be in charge of that. And there's a couple of, each one of them has something here, right? HR. Somebody calls in sick. You got to have somebody to be at this place at that time. It manages all that for you. So you just plug it into your infrastructure you already have. Now, what the problem with old hotels and old businesses, period, is you got infrastructure. I remember at Broward College, we had a computer system that literally booted up on a floppy disk still. Our nuclear power, the launch codes, yeah. Air traffic control, what was it, Newark that had, yeah, that's where we are. So we have to update, but we also have to do a massive investment in the future to get us even up to today. And because most of us are sitting in antiquated systems that aren't even ready for this yet. So that's the other part. So payroll automation provides real-time labor costs and accuracy, tax compliance, and applies. You want to do your taxes? No, you got TurboTax to do your taxes for you, don't you? Right? So let AI to do the job that it's bid for. It's going to find deductions you couldn't even imagine. Did you think about this? So I always ask my favorite question at the end of the conversation, what is something I didn't even think to ask you? And tell me what the answer is. And tell me why it's relevant to what I've just been asking. That's my favorite question. I always end with that. Or I say, give me 5 YouTube videos that teach me about this better. Those are 2 questions you can keep on going, right? So cybersecurity protection, learn about global threats, predict incidents. MGM suffered a $100 million ransomware attack, right? They implement AI-powered cybersecurity, reduce security incidents by 75% and save $3.2 million annually just in prevention costs. And the system detected neutralized 98% of all threats. So use your Apple browser, turn on that little security thing, get a VPN for yourself, Every time you go into a coffee shop, people have access to all the stuff on your phone, and I'm not joking. And people do it. So get a virtual private network. It doesn't cost you much, about $20 a year or something, but get one. Get someone that takes care of your passwords, although I have yet to find somebody who really does that well with multi-factor authentication. Important, but not a good user experience. How many people, yeah, is that a bad user experience for you? Yeah, less. I mean, you're on demand and you're trying to do a PowerPoint presentation and it's like you can't get in your computer. Really? You know who I am. You got my face scan. You got my fingerprint. What else do you want? You want my blood sample? Yeah. So yeah, those things can be engineered out, but it's got to have somebody that's got a pain point that they know that this is the problem. In fact, I might go try to solve that myself because I'm tired of that nonsense. All right, energy management. Yeah, we got to make sure we consume less, and we got an idea of what we're using and where we're wasting it. Right. Service robots. Okay, here's the really fun part. So this goes from the welcoming concierge. There's hundreds of these all over the world. There's an entire AI hotel in Shanghai, which you can go to. In fact, it will be worth a visit just to see what you do and don't want to do. There's a couple here, like you mentioned. So toilet cleaning. Do you really want your people in there? And you don't have to worry about sexual harassment or something going on there in that situation, right? It goes in, it does its job, it gets the hell out. It knows when there's nobody there. It's got the pass key to get in, and it just does its job. Or this little guy that does delivery to your table. Now, I'm not suggesting you get rid of your workers, but now every time your wait staff takes some order, they're making sure they get it right because they know it's going to get delivered properly and quickly and on time, and they're not going to forget. Okay. So then you got your delivery service. So that's nice. So IKEA is doing this. Then you got the Sentry. That's an AI generated image on the right. The one on the left is a real photograph from a website. Can you tell the difference? That's actually a better looking photograph. Only it's a little bit too handsome. Oh. Wellness robots. So you've got massage treatments. So these are the two that I think you were reacting to, right? I really get in massages a lot, right? I don't want one of those pads on my back. I'm sorry. I want to talk to a human being and have a conversation and learn something as I'm relaxing. I want to hear a soothing voice from all over, whatever. And eyelashes. Now, my roommate got this done, and it's crazy. They're doing weaves now. They're doing dental treatments, all kinds of stuff. Long ALR. The Dr. Castro, we call himself Dr. GPT. He's an international award-winning TED talker, blah, blah, blah. They're doing all these surgeries. Complete open heart surgery was done telephonetically, meaning from another country, live on a person. And that's not even a billionth of what's next. Get started with Notebook LM. And I'm going to ask you in just a second here. Google Notebook LM. It's on your phone. You can use it there. What you do is you go in there and you put sources into it, and I'll show you and demonstrate in a second. Can you bring up that audio file? How much time I got?
Right. You're good.
10 minutes?
You got right now. And then you have 10 minutes.
All right. I'm allowed to play. But question? Here is that this Or
We're getting feedback from the build on Zoom that they don't hear.
Yeah, I'm gonna share the file with them.
oh,
I'm on it. Yeah, yeah.
oh, go and share audio when you do shares. Yeah, that's it. Now, the Azamara one that I give you there as an example is I was going on a trip. It was last minute. My roommate's a flight attendant for American. So we had these free trips. It's $1,300 for a balcony for 14 days from Seville, Spain to Rome every day and then before. So all I said to Perplexity was, I'm going on this cruise ship. And it knew the Azamara Pursuit. It knew the dates and times I was going. It told me all the ports before I even looked up anything. It then pulled up, because I asked it to, all the YouTube videos about reviews. It said one thing: make sure your balcony is not on search decks because it's blocked from views because of the lifeboats. That's what I found after I watched it like 2 hours. And then every port the night before, I sat there at dinner and I said, we're pulling into Rome tomorrow. I definitely will have these 3 things on my bucket list. Give me a walking tour step by step. Find me a place that has gelato for lunch afterwards. And, if they can make a reservation or do that for me. Holy cow. See, you should give this to every traveler because now it knew the place to go. I was in Seville, right? La Familia Sagat, right? So it was a 2.5-hour line given. I bet on, is there any special tours that have low wait? Oh yeah, there's one leaving in a half an hour. I pay for it through my phone. I showed up and I walked right in front of everybody, just standing line forever. Because they needed one more person to go on that one little place. And I was the one. So that's it. And if you take a look over here on the right, there's this. So these are each one of my subsequent posts. And now what you see here. So Perplexity works this way. The first thing is decide what you want to ask about. And this is all AI, right? I want to know about this trip. Okay. Number 2, what do you want to know about the trip? I don't know if, is there a lot of walking? Is there any part that what kind of clothes should I pack? It literally made a packing list for me. And it told me about new regulations and getting visas and blah, 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 right? So ask me, and then my favorite question, which you'd always tell me what I didn't ask about and tell me how it could give me an advantage. And that's business, that's in your life, that's in working out, whatever you want to do. Use it for everything. And so each one of the ports from so David, the history and facts. So seeing Michelangelo as David, and then Sorrento, I didn't even know it was in Sorrento, so, and I'm getting this whole education. I'm standing in front of David and I'm searching for, and I find out there's like an 8-foot statue that was made before he made that to David. It's right across the way. Oh, tell me how to go there and find me another gelato plate. Yeah, like that is one of my dropped out thing, right? So I'm the human and I'm driving this rocket ship where I get to do stuff. And the experience that we had was like $1 million vacation.
Hmm.
That's where you take it to your advantage. And that's my human-centric kind of thing about this. See if I can get back to boarding here. There's more. And so, definitely take a look at this. This is how you prompt. You just talk and ask what you're asking for. I am a hotelier and my job is to do this. What's my task I want to do? I want to find out how to be more efficient and what tools can I use to make AI help my job be easier? Number 3, what format would you like it in? So I want this as a table. I want this as a numbered list. I want it short. I want it long. I want pictures with it. And then say, give it an example. So give me an example. Yesterday, I had a great time when I was in Rome. Find me the 3 restaurants just like that experience, right? So, give it as example. So you communicate by just talking to it, tell what you want. And then your role is this, your task is that, and your format is that. And if you give it an example, it fine tunes it to know exactly what you intend to get out. Now you're talking to it. So it's on your phone. 90% of the work I did for this project was on my phone laying in bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. So these are the tools you need to know about. The last 2 are just for fun. This is the brainchild. This is the one. Forget ChatGPT, forget Gemini, forget everybody else. This is your search engine. Now, if you want to find out what kind of mango is this in my yard, can I pick it now or not? Just go to ChatGPT, take a picture of it. It'll tell you what kind of mango it is, what it tastes like. It'll tell you everything about it. That's not quite ripe yet, it told me. And I could literally talk for the next 100 years and I won't even unfold what I've learned so far. But the primary thing is be a human. Let it be that thing that gets the job done, but you don't want to. Let it give you the answers. And these are the tools to do it. So it's just for making fun music. You literally can prompt it to make any kind of music. Listen to your own handmade music on the way home. Go to ChatGPT, write some cool lyrics about what you want to talk about. I had this incredible experience today with this guy who's talking about being human in the AI world. Let me a song about that. Boom, ChatGPT, copy and paste. Go over to Cinema. You want it as a rap song with fakes. Discard that. And simple, right? Ideograms for making images. All the images that you saw there, well, a lot of them were ideogram because it can get type correct. I mean, it doesn't misspell a thing. It'll do a whole page of text and get it right. So it's fun, and all of them are like 20 bucks. So there you go. I think that's it. Okay. Hopefully, get this presentation. It's on that disk that you use.
Okay, can you send that to me? Okay, and I'll get it to everybody.
Hello.
So, we have time for 2 questions. So, and burning question. Anybody? Yes, something.
So all that hotel information, awesome. Let me ask you, is there a company that goes to hotels that I can give you all this information? There's so much in there.
So here's my side light project. And I've done this in 3 cities so far. So I go for 4 hours in Chamber of Commerce. But I have the entire Chamber of Commerce. Many people, we had 100 people. We did it over 4 days. I only Wednesday now, I got it figured out. So if you guys give me 3 more hours, I would make you applications. You'd go out and do it for everybody else. So I want to teach you how to fish. In 4 hours, I can teach you how to fish. And the rest of your life, I'd catch fish. So that's my deal. So Upskill USA, my goal is to get the federal government to pay for every community college professor in the United States, no matter what you teach, to be like me. Right? And they learned everything they can so they could make their teaching experience better. And I just written a 400-page book called Rocket Ship for the Mind, Designing Educational Experiences with AI. So what I just gave you now is a 400-page book that I'm finishing right now. Why? Because I am a passionate teacher. I'm a passionate person. And I could drive this rocket ship by opens and then go opens I could hand this to you. You could be the same way. You want to be a dangerous person in most worlds. A dangerous person who can change the world, who can fix the world, who can think different, the way Steve Jobs felt about it, right? So from Maya Angelou to Rosa Parks to Martin Luther King, these are all people that thought differently about the world. They didn't know, as Steve Jobs said, that they couldn't change the world. So guess what? They did. On my tombstone, that will be written. And I'm going to petition Steve Jobs Foundation to allow me to put that there. And my life's purpose is to be a purpose to you all, to make your lives more beautiful the way my look at it is. Like that, please, my heart and soul, and assist so other. Thanks. So if it, all you can do for me, literally get my one budget. Yeah, don't leave yet. One more question, if
I have one. And maybe you answered this. I'm sorry, I came in a little late. Why Perplexity over ChatGPT or one of the other models?
It's an answer engine that has artifacts, citations, and a permanent records of your conversation. Yeah. So it has 3 stages. One is you ask the question, so throw your thesis, someone of that answer. It then takes each one of those and it keeps asking you. There's 4 more questions that it will prompt you and suggest. What do? I read those 4, just have a conversation. I include all 4 things. It's out a lot, right? And it keeps going. And it has 40 citations per each one of these, and then you turn it into a page. A page is that visual thing that you see there with all the chapters on the right. That's the prompting sequence that you just went through. Then you can turn into a space, and then here's where this really gets interesting. Your business gets Perplexity, and you're in HR, and you're over in maintenance, and then you all put all your stuff into one space in Perplexity. Then that grounded information, which you all certified as what you're interested in, it's amalgamated, and then you can ask questions of that knowledge base. That's what Notebook LM is. You put all your knowledge from every discipline that you got, every vertical within your business, no matter what it is, in the Google Notebook LM. Like I said, it could take 100 copies of all complete works of your product, and then it produces that podcast, which is spot on if you listen to it a little carefully. You can go for a 20-minute or 40-minute conversation if you want to.
So more thorough and then research based.
Yes, first,
Yeah.
Check in with the folks on the
Yeah. Anybody on Zoom have a question?
No, there's no questions in there.
I mean, audience. Oh, they're still there.
Yeah, it's our film folks.
Anybody can
I had one earlier because I know that Delta just announced they're going to start doing pricing on airplane tickets based on AI research, and it's going to be real time. So in other words, if you see busy flights, all of a sudden the prices go up, and then there's no flights, prices go down immediately. Do you see that going towards hotel rooms?
absolutely, it's already there. In fact, the evidence suggests that a lot of people have been on the cutting edge, the bleeding edge, I call it right now. It's about to get so much easier because agents are a thing. That means that you have one bot that's really good at this, the research, Perplexity, for example, and it hands it off without any friction in between. And you set it up to answer your email. So in the Google ecosystem, I can go to Gemini, ask questions. I can load up literally 10 million characters of context. That means it can, the whole transcripts from everything. Ask questions of that. Then I can take that, take all those answers and put in this PDFs into my Google Notebook. Or I can go searching, and Google Notebook has this great feature. It says, you go on, you say, can you find me 10 more YouTube videos like this and 3 websites, finding ones that are cited in references and have more than 1,000 views or 10,000 views. And then it goes and finds those research things and it ingests them all of it. So it literally is your
Research assisted.
it is of epic proportions. No one could do this in a lifetime, what I did with this.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Now let's go back.
I think that question number 1 has been answered. If you were buying the slides, it is being used in preventative maintenance and front desk operations and every area, I think, pretty much of hospitality. But let me ask employers here, both online and employers here in the room that are in hospitality, how is your company using AI right now? Are you? Maybe you're not, but how are you using it?
Here we go. So I'm currently building AI to assist small businesses and nonprofits. So I'm actually implementing tools. So there, to answer your question, Hans, there are companies that go around and assist other companies in figuring out all of the technology and AI that is out there.
And I was anxious to anybody like yourself, Noel Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Contact her on LinkedIn. Every Friday, she does exactly that. She worked for Accenture,
Mm-hmm.
and she's in the Hall of Fame at Microsoft for AI.
Mhm.
And she was one of the primary founders of Alexa.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Noelle Russell. Look her up. She's got a baby tiger book that she just came out with. That AI is a baby tiger. When it grows up, we need to be careful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Deb.
So yeah, so I'm building agents. So AI agents and like grant writers, grant searchers.
So she has like
that.
helps to go deep
Mhm.
dive into doing exactly what you do. Okay.
So, and here about hospitality employers here. Are you using AI in your operation? Catherine, Yanesi, oh, there we go. Christy, any of your companies? Irene?
We use a little bit of AI. We've been using it in our HR platforms. We have some automated text messages that go out for applicants. We've done it with our onboarding. We've done some simple things.
Okay. Good, sharp. Anyone else? No. Okay. So it's not really, at least locally, it doesn't appear to be. Do you have aspects of it already incorporated? Okay. And in what areas?
So on our preventative maintenance, they have that, and on the security side and on the HR side.
Okay.
So
Okay, good. 3 areas.
but not the risk possible to back in.
Not to that depth yet. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
But I can really see this as an employer and as a manager utilizing what I've learned today, and I've already downloaded the apps, utilizing what I've learned today to really free up time and be able to concentrate on more essential tasks, not how do I respond to this question.
Okay. So on our call to our meeting today, I'm noticing just from some of the names, we have some larger companies are represented here. We have some what I would call medium-sized management companies, hospitality management. We have some local ones as well. So as AI and emerging technologies continue to evolve in this industry, hospitality, what new skills and competencies do you see becoming increasingly important for workers?
All the human ones.
Critical thinking.
All human.
Creativity or critical thinking, social, emotional intelligence, these are mine. Agency and decision making, consensus building, which is also social, emotional intelligence. Those are the golden things, and adaptability. LinkedIn called the word adaptability the word for the century, because we're about to change like we never saw before.
Okay. I mean, would you add anything on? For those of you online, would you add anything to that, the list of what you heard? Or Sandy, anything else you would add to that list that you just heard?
No, that's pretty comprehensive. So that's going to be a pretty comprehensive, thinking logistically, drilling it down on how to train and develop folks in those skills. Yeah. What resources are out there.
And our educational system is not designed. In fact, in the state of Florida, 1968 is the rule book that's in there for K through 12. And it says basically, make them compliant, make them sit still and learn all day so they could take factory work jobs. 1968, that was the paradigm. We're pig boys, another brick in the wall. If that ever do. We need to train the human, and that's actually what I'll do a little quick plug for Rocking Ship in Mind. Because it's about, if you could flip the classroom, make it all human. I send the students on their journey to find their education because I'm preparing them for the next world. I ask them what their ikigai is, what their reason for being, their my why. And I send them on a journey to find that. They're playing a game. And I point them at a North Star, cure homelessness in Fort Lauderdale. If you got a problem like that, and then you put some impediments in their way, you make it difficult because they got to earn it. You don't own anything. You're not curious unless that's what you're given as a prompt as you start at the beginning of your life and careers and education.
Okay. Any comments?
If I have a near caveat question from what Rick shared, said AI is not a time to fire your personnel, which I definitely beautifully agree with. And that we are in the business of making memories and architecting feelings. Thinking about everything that we went through and saw here, a lot of it saves time. A lot of it helps us streamline processes. And then when I see that that does reduce workforce necessity. So where exactly would say all the hospitality employers here find the redirect of human capital?
Well, if you're not putting a toilet, you're finding someone in the hallway that's lost and you're helping them. It's all those human skills that you want to start to make priority number one. There was a movie, when all manufacturing went to Japan, all the cars there was a movie Gung Ho, I think it was called, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And they worked out every day. I'm suggesting work out being more human every day. All of your staff should go through human training, personal service training. What is the high touch quality you can give? What is the question that you can always ask? Would you like fries with your McDonald's shake? And McDonald's shakes? You want to upsell them by saying, it's your anniversary. Wouldn't you like something really special? Can I search for something? You be the human prompter that knows what the human needs, and you be the human in the room. So we just reallocate, instead of tasks like cleaning toilets, we reallocate that time to a more purposeful human experience. So you're designing experiences. So that word I started talking about is you're crafting memories by designing experience of your hotel or whatever business you are. That's more human. That me as a teacher, I sat and I asked this student, why she select a career in as a teacher. She was an art teacher in elementary school. After 2 years, she quit. She says, I give up. I had art on the cart, 3 students. So I didn't have any time to foster creativity, curiosity, or anything, right? And I said, is there any project you ever did? This is the nut graph of the hope, and I'll keep it quick, sorry. And did you ever do anything that was really cool? She says, yeah, one time I went in, I bought 50 rolls of tape, and I brought it in, I set it on the desk, and I left. I came back, and they built a suspension bridge between 2 desks that was glorious. It looked like the Golden Gate Bridge. And they were taking erasers and going back and forth across it. And then she said, this is amazing what you guys did. They did social engineering. They did collaboration engineering even. So then she said, you know what? I wonder how many books it can hold. And she put 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, 4 books. It started to buckle. She took the 4th book off and she went away. She came back in a half hour. They built it with 22 books sitting on top of it. They now became the prompt. The prompt was a bowl of tape, and then lead them to be the humans that are so curious that they are of their own playful skill. They become that. So the prompt of life is, think of that bowl of tape. And I'm going to have a national award every year given on behalf of my book to someone that comes up with a prompt that activates the human. Let the AI not cheat. But if you give them the responsibility to have control of it, it's like you hand the car keys. And what they do with it is dependent on whether they go out and get drunk doing it, which is going to happen anyway. Drunk driving happens. If you hurt somebody, it's your responsibility, whether you use AI or not. So the thing is, think about, what is the person? How would I feel if I was being cyber scanned everywhere and I had an RFID and I was in a bar when I found that out? Or personnel, HR, I had a laptop. I bought my own laptop because Broward College, because it's their email system and their laptop, they have permission to go and see if I'm looking at some porn or to see if I'm looking for a new job. And so I found this HR person who does this internationally. They are actively doing that. So
let's take what you said, though,
Yeah.
and let me ask the folks in hospitality. I mean, that sounds great.
Yeah.
How does that transfer to the properties? What can you take? What do you train? Let's say you decide to buy those machines that clean the bathrooms, and maybe in 2 years we got machines that make beds. What do you do with your hospitality staff? But with your housekeeping staff?
is it true they have less housekeeping staff because of the immigration situation now?
I don't know, but
I'm asking them.
but in terms of reskilling, right? What would you do with those people? And I throw that open to all the hospitality employers.
I think that's the devil's advocate question of saying, yes, it is a beautiful concept. And I do agree. And I think that's what makes you all pioneers of when you implement such a thing, when you find out how you're going to reskill your employees, because we do have big housekeeping staff. And if the housekeeping staff is reduced from, say, a team of 75 people, it's just a team of 5 people. Now you have 70 people that, if we're, of course, we're focusing, we're not firing, we have to change this.
Come back to Broward College. We'll fix it. We'll make it AI agent installer.
And I think too, part of that's going to depend because there's different levels of hotels. Your resorts, my guess, I don't know, are going to be more human-centric. Because if I'm paying, $3,000 a night for a suite, I don't want to see a machine cleaning my toilet. I want a human there. I want to be able to talk to them. That's just my guess. If I'm overnight on the highway property,
To conflict. Yeah, how many times you've been online and waiting for a robot to talk to you, and then you got a real problem? It should always, AI's default should be, if there's a problem, an indication that it needs to be escalated to a human. Always get the human in the loop.
it has to be
It's the human in the loop waiting to solve the bigger problems.
And that problem on the phone.
Yep.
For me, it's just a comment, and especially the space that I deal in, as well as the recovery. It's personal responsibility. It's I feel it needs to be people need to be informed, but people need to be not scared but prepared. So if you see things coming, you need to call audibles. You need to make that shift yourself. And I was talking with Kat before. Make your adjustments.
Yeah.
You have to stay in front of it. You have to stay ahead.
again, adaptability. That's our willingness to learn.
And again, what are the scared? Don't be scared. Be prepared. Make those adjustments.
And always opt in. Don't make it a default in terms of service, which we never read. Always be transparent and allow the person to decide, do I want this to be used on my behalf? And if you click positively, then it's okay.
Sure.
Otherwise, you don't have consent.
Sure. Also, go ahead.
Me? Yeah, sorry. I'm just thinking it through if I'm clear that it's not going to be all enough. That the robot that they showed is for toilet, and I'm thinking as my actual staff, and it's how we present it to them. Okay, I can't give you a $4 increase to match cost of living, but I can make your work-life balance a little better. That at the job,
There you go.
this would be an easier task, which to then allow you to focus on the rest of
Excellent point.
I didn't give you a $4
It's an incorporation. It's an incorporation. That's one way. That's interesting because that's kind of not the way I've been thinking in terms of some of the work we've been doing with employers. So one way you can upskill your employees, if you have to train them in AI to incorporate into their jobs, we provide training grants. The incumbent worker training grant is geared to do that with employers. Yours kind of a different way. You're not really training them per se. You're assisting them and taking a workload off of them. That's by using AI and technology. And so that's very interesting approach. That's good. I like that. Anyone else from hospitality addressing how we can reskill, upskill, or how it may impact your workforce? You guys are flying.
If you think about it, right? Now you have all of these robots, right? And things. Who is providing maintenance, right? Who is teaching them?
Right.
Who is prompting them? Who is, right?
Manage.
All of these,
Yeah.
they're scripted, right? You can put scripts. Hi, welcome to the Greater Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. Did you know that we have this event going on today? Who is sitting there and prompting and training and manufacturing and maintaining all of these?
Who's the human sentiment analysis
Thank you.
person?
Who is putting the tone, right? The branding, making sure the if you're at a children's facility, that it's nice and friendly, right? If you're whatever it is. So that's where the skill needs to be.
And definitely the skills have to be to prepare and maintain those things. Which I were talking about that earlier. Okay.
Doug, we have some of our education partners that own too. So is there curriculum, things that can be done with students coming out of
Okay. Anything already be happening at our schools teaching AI?
So I can start. Hi, everyone. I'm Molly Famoso, Career Technical Adult and Community Education Director for Broward Schools. We have a job fair going on today, so I'm sorry I was a little late. That's always a little crazy. So a few things with AI. We rolled it out. We had it in 3 of our high schools last year. This year, we're rolling it out to 12 of our high schools. So students will actually receive the Microsoft Industry Certification exam. We're on our second AI training. It's actually going on right now, where we have 17 teachers that are in sitting foot certification today. It was a 3-day training, so that'll be part of our AI pathway in high schools. And then with the help of CareerSource, we received, with the help of Tony and John and everyone, we received the $50,000 grant. And we put on a training, I think that was about 3 weeks ago, that we put on a training, and that was for 52 of our educators. So 52 of our teachers sat through AI training, again, as a result of our amazing partnership with CareerSource. And then we're doing a third in about 2 weeks, and that's going to be for middle school teachers, because now the state has approved a middle school pathway. So now we're going to be able to start AI as early as actually elementary school. We have one of our elementary schools that's going to be piloting it, to be able to create a pathway right inside Singular.
Interesting, because what the school district is doing with their employees is what I noticed. I've worked on a couple of the incumbent worker training grants with our employers that we work with. And one of them was like, I need to train them how to use it to make good jobs easier. How can they produce more, essentially? Because now they're not doing the minutia of, okay, let me look that up now and, go open the book and look everything up. They can pull it using AI, that kind of thing. So it's definitely a way to make them more productive for an employer. And again, you're keeping the employee there. Your goal is not to, hey, let me get rid of those, lose it all. That human touch is going to be critical, because we are social beings in the end. And the machines are good for some stuff, but they're not good for everything.
As of the last week, the new law says K through 12 will implement AI to keep up with China, who's already grade school on through, have a curriculum designed specifically for that. So we have been resistant. It's no longer an option. This is the future, just like the internet. And we'll get used to it. It'll feel like electricity, like you just kind of know that your maps is going to get you there. So electricity goes out. One time I was coming to one of these meetings and the internet went down. And luckily, I remember going to that building once before. It took me a couple of long turns, but so that's kind of it, right? It's on, but that goes out too. So there's center parts. Sarah.
Tiffany Rolling at Bland Tech College, Shabby Depter, there for technology department. Inside CareerSafe, which is that national food safety training, there is embedded in their curriculum that you can get online, some AI generated, kind of like a hands-on tool for them. So when they maybe go through a module online, if you answer 3 incorrect questions, it kind of doubles back and asks you by that same question another way. And we have purchased that as a learning tool for them to have besides what's going on in classroom, besides what we're doing in the lab. So there's that. But I'm not ever the devil's advocate. My hardest struggle, truly, because I'm the front of the house instructor a lot, right? My biggest struggle is to let someone look at me in the face and explain something to me. My young people, and now 30, they struggle with explaining something to me, talking to me, and looking me in the eye. I ask Rita Pont, okay, the guest wants to see you. The guest in the United States, and I know that's the cultural thing as well. The guests in the United States, if you're not looking at them in the eye, they feel like they're being lied to. Yeah. So we have to encourage our children and our students and somehow work this AI training to get that, okay, you need to look at that. You need to move your shoulders towards them when you're talking to them. You need to be a little bit in their Christmas space. Like those kind of things. Here's what
So I had a student practicing for a speak. It's literally, they put it on the camera so it can see you while you're doing this. It says, let's get to my speech. Tell me 3 things I can do better. Give me step by step. Give me note cards as to how I might be able to memorize this and it into mine. So literally send them home and say, my boss is saying that I'm not eye-to-eye contact. Can you walk if I'm doing this or not? Well, you seem to be a little shy on this part. And it will literally talk with you with an actual voice and explain to you how you could be a better version of yourself. That's all we could ask that. And, that's a lot more than we get other.
I think it's also it's a larger challenge, because a lot of that's those who are good at it. They're running it. They're in a good. Also, that communicates. So some of that is tougher of the kind. Yeah, but it can be taught. And that's something, by the way, we just mentioned is we've heard it every form, every industry. soft skills. So they didn't communicate, they learn what that's it, how to address
Do a job interview with AI.
that is a huge issue. Then I want to get to one other point, but here's for
Yeah. Yes. How just listening to your comment just now, and I just thought about, well, what's the most important thing that we should do, the industry and also in innovation, is ensuring that we know how to prompt and man think out of the box, triple thinking, especially to put stuff into AI. I believe that's what we're lacking. So I'm not sure if AI is capable of providing straightly for industry.
It's trained on natural language. That's what it is, a natural language. So just speak to it. Like literally, my boss said this about me. Watch what I do.
Speaking with the, the like, oh, you got to resolve the industry, just to kind of start thinking rather than thinking about having, to lose an employee because you have now, a robot. Think about it, the fact that we have to train for impromptu, speaking out of the box. Because one of the things that I believe we have to do to avoid our students in education from just putting in stuff, because you're not going to think it, but they think, oh, I could just go to ChatGPT or something and put it in, or they're not thinking about how to ask the question. So I think that's one of the
Nursing in Broward College, give me an event and a sequence of events and let me triage it and then critique my triage.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you can have it watch. It can see you, it can hear you, and you can talk to it in real time. So it can tell you, oh, you should have done the EpiPen instead of that, and then you just become a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
So we're using the Socratic method.
At the Broward Technical Colleges and specifically at Fatter, we actually have created some workshops for the students to understand these type of things instead of just putting in information and getting out an answer. How can you become a more effective student? How to use it ethically and responsibly as an academic. And also we're using it on the HR side of it. So we are using like Big Interview that has a AI capability. So we have the students sit with a computer, do an entire mock interview, and it responds and gives back us notice. We're also utilizing it to not create the resumes, but to review the resumes based on what the applicant tracking systems are using. So then the students are not getting set into this void where they're unable to get a callback or anything like that. And I think it's imperative that we as educators, instead of shying away from using AI, that we actually educate the students on how to use it more effectively, because it's out there in the workforce. I don't think I've been to any CareerSource Broward forum or any meeting with an employer where they are not saying that AI is going to be. I've heard it being compared to, you're going to need AI skills like you need Microsoft or speaking Max. It's a basic skill.
So based on this, would all of you, whether you're on Zoom or here in person, would you say one strategy might be to promote training on AI incorporation into your current job? Does that sound like a strategy that our industry folks now,
Yeah.
this is where you're at?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else?
I would agree. Also, I realized I didn't say hello to everybody. Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm from the Riverside Hotel. I work with Heiko and Sandy. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Catherine. Anybody else? Do you feel that's a valid approach?
Yeah.
Strategy? You guys are quiet today. That's not very hospitable. I'm making an evidence. Okay. Yeah.
Can I say something? Sure. In all the forums we've had, every employer has indicated that, yes, they need to incorporate AI into their day-to-day work. The question comes after that, how do they do it? How do they make AI make sense?
Come see me.
For them?
I'm shooting.
Right.
Give me 4 hours.
Yeah. How do they implement AI into their specific customized how they do it?
And that's a good point. And I don't know if I told you, it's Clepa Technologies. They did it. That was their whole purpose of their training. They brought about 9 people, and they said, okay, they all do different things. We got to train on how to use it. And there was a first step for them, but it's like, they all basically went from, what is this? To, okay, I can start using this to, depending on what their position was. Okay. Yes, please.
So with the AI coming, I'm embracing it. I'm not as scared as I was an hour ago. As it gets the policy.
I kind of speak for Broward College from the overall to the HR to the syllabus, all the way down.
There's your math. Your business cards, Earl.
I did for Broward College the entire policy for everything. Wow. And I asked it, what did I not think about that is normal policy? Finding the best policies at every educational institution, research it and give me the perfect version that's specifically made for Broward College. I did that in an hour and a half. We spent easily 300 people hours to do that same research. And when I got to first call on the first day, I just sat down and asked questions just like that. Tell me who's doing it right. What are the pitfalls of things we need to worry about? What are the touching point where we got to make a decision as to how stringently we want to be invasive into somebody's personal laptop, for example? What are the ethical implications? And then play devil's advocate. Tell me, I didn't find it wrong. And when I'm done, do it.
Is that required carrier or are you allowed to share?
Well, I was just asking for research on creating policies.
First shot. Can I have it?
Yeah. Yep, for how?
Hell.
So I would go and you asked that exact question. All I wanted to come to you and said is in an hour, I can tell you based on your subject matter expertise, is that how you could be an expert? And it's basically just asking exactly what you just asked. How do I do this policy? I ain't got the time for this. Let it do the research. It is so good. It literally brought forth has achieved AGI, artificial general intelligence. That means it is part of every single living thing on the planet. Period. That's last week or something. Now it's going to be like we're a monkey brain compared to that.
So City can basically show you what to ask, and
Yeah, it's the human balloon.
so you have his business card, hand them till even.
And yeah, comes for it.
Okay, Cliff. I want to respect people's time. We're a few minutes over, but I have two things I wanted to ask. Well, first of all, I'll mention just in case there is on your screen for those on Zoom and the back of your left-hand side a survey QR code. Please take the survey before you go. Okay. Do not forget, please. It's good for us to know how well this went, what you liked or disliked. It helps us improve them for next time around. I want to address one last question here, number 4. And manufacturing has the manufacturing industry has a very similar issue. How do you make hospitality for the entry level? Ron, you mentioned how to get you start that lower paying kind of, from society point of view, it's like, oh, you're just a this. Okay. How do you make it attractive? How do you make it attractive for people? And so bring them into the industry, employ them, and then hopefully keep them in and move them forward. Is there any way to make the next generation in this industry? How do you do it? Yeah, Ron.
So what I like to do is once we hired to help the people, they're going through the monkey getting onboarded. I like to go hot to go, and I tell them a couple of stories. But what I really try to get through to them is, and I use the example of cleaning toilets. You're not here just to clean toilets. You're here to give an experience. And in a convention center, with these medical conventions, there could be the next cure of cancer. There could be, and we are setting that stage. We are a part of that, or we are setting that stage. You want to make them understand it's bigger than what like what it is. The other thing I like to do is the convention centers typically are a deficit. In other words, the governing entity has to put money into it. So I'm going to use my convention center in Cleveland. I had this with them on pace. 2019, the county had to put $500,000 in convention. So we did to cover our expenses. They had to put an extra $500,000. But guess what? That convention center supplies on the output side an economic impact, $170 million. So, and that's with all the jobs that it creates and the people coming in and out and you have your taxis, your Ubers, all of that. That's why a convention center exists, is create that type of economic impact. So I try to instill into that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's bigger than what they think it is. And then I tell a couple of success stories of people that I've known or hired and kind of where they are today to let them know there is a career in this if you really want it.
Yeah. And I think what you said is so true. It's the idea of promoting a career, not a job. Right.
Yeah, the hero's journey was a North Star.
Yeah.
That's their mission.
It's your lot. That's the goal. And I love your story too. What you share with your people. If someone shared a story one time on a talk I heard, you go to first person. What are you doing? Well, I'm cutting rocks. You just did it. It was the next. Well, what are you doing? I'm building a people. That's the view. You have to create that vision. That's it. So on the Zoom side, any other comments or ideas on how to promote or build this industry?
QR code is saying that the survey is not currently active.
No, it is.
Yeah.
And we tested.